Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something that is incredibly fascinating and honestly immediately applicable to your everyday life. We're going to explore how the very first 10 minutes of your day, those first few moments of wakefulness, are secretly and profoundly impacting your actual IQ for the rest of the day.
Think about it. Ever wonder why your brain feels incredibly foggy some mornings, but then completely razor sharp on others? We've all been there, right? Usually, we just blame the brand of coffee we drank, or maybe we obsess over the exact number of hours we slept. But behavioral psychology tells us a totally different story. It turns out, the everyday habits you think are helping you wake up might actually be trapping you in a lower state of intelligence.
Okay, let's start with a really foundational concept here. Intelligence isn't just a fixed number, it's a reflection of how your brain processes information and makes decisions. We tend to think of our IQ as this permanent number locked in at birth. No way. In reality, your cognitive capacity actually fluctuates based on how you treat your brain. So today, we're going to figure out how to stop the silent collapse of our mental clarity by zeroing in on a few hidden morning habits.
All right, Section 1. The irregular clock. The hidden damage of an irregular wake-up schedule. And this cognitive sabotage begins the literal second you open your eyes.
Let's walk through the timeline of an inconsistent morning. Say your alarm goes off at a totally random time, maybe 6 a.m. on Tuesday, but 9 a.m. on Saturday. That instantly creates profound confusion in your brain. By minute 5, your biology is actively struggling to figure things out. It's fighting a war between melatonin, the sleep hormone, and dopamine, the motivation neurotransmitter. The result of that clash? For the next 2 solid hours, you are trapped in what psychologists actually call sleep inertia. It's that groggy, heavy feeling that prevents your mind from smoothly shifting out of rest and into active, high-level reasoning.
The contrast here is purely biological. A random schedule leads directly to impaired judgment and logic. Why? Because your brain quite literally cannot trust its own timeline, so it holds back cognitive resources. But if you have a consistent routine, you guarantee a smooth shift right into reasoning mode. Consistency isn't just about being disciplined or having good habits, it's an absolute biological prerequisite for peak intelligence.
Moving right along. Section 2. Physical chaos, mental fog. Because honestly, getting out of bed at the right time is only half the battle. Once you're up, your physical environment basically dictates your cognitive capacity for the rest of the day.
So many of us do this. We wake up and stumble around in a dimly lit room, completely skipping natural morning sunlight. Well, this kicks off a really dark chain reaction. You're keeping your circadian rhythm totally confused. And worse, you're actively blocking the activation of serotonin, which is absolutely crucial for your focus, your mood, and your alertness. Denying your brain that morning light traps you in a state of unfocused heaviness, and trust me, you simply cannot out-caffeinate that feeling. And then there's the clutter. Walking into a messy room or a chaotic kitchen forces your brain to perform all these subconscious, totally unnecessary calculations, which instantly spikes your cortisol. This trust hormone just floods your system the very moment your working memory gets overloaded by visual noise. It's like having way too many tabs open in your web browser. Every dish in the sink, every random paper on the counter, your brain has to process it, and that sucks computing power directly away from your actual goals.
It's really interesting, actually. High IQ individuals tend to use selective organization to put their energy only into what is important. Physical clutter just drains your incredibly limited cognitive bandwidth. If you want a clear mind, you absolutely have to cultivate a clear physical environment.
Okay, Section 3. The digital slot machine. As we get further into our morning routine, we run into what is definitely the most common and, frankly, the most destructive habit of modern life.
I'm talking about the smartphone. Touching your phone the moment you wake up just obliterates your cognitive control. That's your psychological ability to delay your reaction to instant stimulation. When you roll over and instantly check your notifications, your emails, your likes, you're essentially playing a digital slot machine. You are flooding your brain with variable rewards and totally blocking your cognitive control before your day has even properly started.
Flooding your brain with that instant, unpredictable stimulation literally forces you into a reactive survival mode. You're bypassing deep, meaningful thought just to react to the latest news alert or group chat message. And over time, living in this survival mode degrades your executive function. That's the exact system your brain relies on for planning, reasoning, and solving complex problems. You are basically trading your highest cognitive abilities for a cheap hit of dopamine.
And that brings us to Section 4, shallow sips.
So you're sitting down with your morning coffee, probably feeling a bit groggy and already overstimulated, and boom, we hit the next trap. The type of content you consume right now finalizes this whole process of cognitive sabotage.
Think about what you're absorbing. If you spend your morning scrolling through short videos and endless social feeds, your brain quickly adapts to shallow thinking. Psychologists have directly linked this to a weakened working memory and really poor verbal reasoning. You are actively detraining your brain. You're teaching it, hey, you don't need to sustain focus anymore. But on the flip side, consuming science, philosophy, or really any long-form content actively stretches your understanding. It forces your brain to make complex connections, which promotes actual growth in your intelligence.
All right, Section 5, Exiting Survival Mode. We know the traps now, we see exactly how the sabotage happens. So how do we actually reclaim our minds? Remember, your IQ isn't just about what facts you know, it's about how you optimize these critical early morning moments to train your thinking. To take your mind back, it basically boils down to 3 steps. Step 1, remove those habits of instant comfort. Stop reaching for the phone in bed, stop hiding from the morning sunlight, and seriously, stop letting a chaotic, messy environment dictate your morning mood. By doing that, you naturally move to step 2, which allows your brain to finally exit that frantic, highly reactive survival mode. And once that mental static clears out, you unlock step 3, entering a state of really deep, high-level cognitive processing. So the big takeaway from this explainer is simple but powerful. Train your brain to think, and you will build a stronger, clearer version of yourself. We aren't just looking at habits here. We're decoding the underlying psychology so you can take back control of your own intelligence. You absolutely have the power to stop the cognitive sabotage.
I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Which morning habit of comfort are you going to remove tomorrow to finally exit survival mode? Are you going to open the blinds and brave the sunlight? Are you going to leave the phone on the nightstand? Basically, how are you going to change your first 10 minutes tomorrow morning to unlock your mind's true potential? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I can't wait to explore more of these fascinating concepts with you next time.